Okay.
All righty. Good morning, Darryl.
Good morning, Julie.
How are you?
I'm wonderful.
You're looking very sharp today.
Well, I just came back from doing that seminar this morning, and I told him I had to hurry up so I can get for this.
It's like a double header or something, right?
You know, this is why if we had just rebroadcast the recording,
I know, but
you
this is
wanted
going to
me
be
to do
so
this
awesome.
live. You are a pain in my butt, Julie Escobar, making me work so hard all the time.
I know, but you love it. Good afternoon, or good morning, or afternoon, everybody. Almost afternoon for those of us on the
It
East
depends
Coast.
on where you are.
I know, right? Depends on where you are. It could be early morning for some of you. Welcome aboard. For those of you who are just joining us, use that Q&A panel, if you would, to tell us where you're from and what you hope to get out of today. And welcome aboard. We're excited about today's webinar. Really excited about this topic. It's really going to be a focus for us in 2019, and certainly a focus for a lot of agents in 2019 to create that breakthrough success that so many people have been on the cusp of for so long. We got Arkansas in the house. Welcome, Rodney.
Julie, should they put it in the chat or in the question thing?
They can do either.
Either. I see we got Atasakata Begina Bana, Texas.
I think you nailed that.
You think I nailed that city?
Yeah.
I put an extra 10 syllables in it.
Atascocita, Texas? I don't know.
Atasakata.
We're probably destroying that. Is it not even close?
Not even close.
Right, Terry.
Atasakina.
Onomatopoeia? Oh, no, that's not
Onomatopoeia in Texas. Atlanta, thank God, Atlanta. That I can say, Atlanta. Right. Hi, Atlanta.
That one we got. We got that one. That's good.
We got another Texan. Boy, we got Humboldt.
Right.
Humboldt.
Great state of Texas is in the house. We got Pittsburgh. Where's Pittsburgh, New York?
Where's Pittsford? Pittsford, New York.
Yes, where's that?
Pittsford is up. It's kind of upstate. A lot of great agents up there. I love Pittsford. Long Island. Justin from Long Island.
Justine.
It's near Rochester, right?
Rochester. Thank you for the geographically challenged amongst us.
Yes.
Tell us what you want to get out of today, everybody, as you're joining us too. We want to hear where you're from and what you want to get out of today and what you're looking for out of this year. We are here to serve.
People ask if this webinar is recorded. No, this is live. This is happening live.
It is. That's my fault.
You can test us. Ask us a question right now. We'll answer you. A better mindset. Yeah, that's important, right, Julie?
Yep, absolutely. That's where it starts, right? Your attitude determines your altitude.
Yes. I was just going to say that. Your attitude dictates your altitude.
Nice. We're on the same wavelength this morning. I love it. Got questions? You can text those in. Be the early bird here. Get more listings. Who doesn't want to? We like that, right? We're all about the listing inventory.
Yep.
Welcome, welcome.
I'm looking for new ways to get listings. I prospect expired listings for the last 2 years. Okay, Richard. All right.
Then we got great stuff for you and everybody.
Richard, where are you from?
Sanford, North Carolina. Want to be more productive? That's good. Richard's from San Antonio.
Okay.
Awesome.
He's not seeing the chat screen, but we can see you. You're writing it in the questions. That's okay. We can see that. Listen, while you guys are on the call early, you good students, if you look over to the, I don't know if I'm pointing the right way.
I think it needs to go the other way. I think it needs to be, yes.
If you look at the panel on your screen, you're going to see something that says handouts. If you click on the handouts, you can download. We gave you a couple of gifts. They're PDFs. You can click on it now and download it. we'll email it to you in case you don't know how to do this.
Yeah, that stresses some people out. So go ahead, go to the handouts, and you can download it right there. But don't stress and don't freak out. We can
Don't
send it. We'll
stress.
email it to you. Don't freak out. Remain calm. Oh, we got Fort Walton Beach. You were just there. That was a
Hey,
great
it was just
workshop, huh?
there, Marilyn. Were you in the audience? Were you in Fort Walton Beach? It was a great audience.
Let's see.
Wendy, welcome back to real estate.
Virginia Beach, that's where I'm from, Wendy. That's exciting. She's coming back to sales after 18 years of property management. All right, we're going to help you dive back in, man. Oh, Marilyn was there. She loves your tapes.
You love my tapes. Now, Marilyn, you're showing your age now, darling, calling it tapes. You meant CDs.
Mobile, Alabama, San Antonio. But we got a lot of Texans on the line today. That's cool.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw.
I'll try to do my southern.
I don't know if you're going to pull that off then.
No. How you doing? That's
that's a little more your speed. I think that's a little more your speed. That's okay.
What time do we have? We got 3 minutes.
We got 3 minutes, 11:57. All right, keep it coming. What are your goals for this year? What do you want to get out of this workshop?
People are starting to call.
We're so excited about this year's lineup of webinars too. We're really going to be so excited to share so much information with agents.
All right, Debbie, very good.
Greenville. We got a few people from Greenville on the line.
North Carolina. Love North Carolina. My college sweetheart is from Raleigh, North Carolina.
Really?
Yeah.
No, now we know.
So Candace, she said, I want to work with more sellers, and I hope this can help me get focused. Today that definitely will help you get more focused. We're going to try and cover a little bit of everything so everybody gets what they need today. For those of you that are just calling in, we've been on the call here for about 10 minutes. We're just kind of bantering and hanging out until showtime in 2 minutes.
Looking for more inventory. That's good. That's exactly what we want you to be looking for. Thanks, Sue. So if you're just joining the call, go ahead and use that Q&A panel. Let us know where you're from and what you hope to get out of today's workshop. We're excited to have you here. Welcome, welcome.
Dallas, Texas. Charlotte, North Carolina.
Like, got a little ABBA in the background. We're a little dancing queen. I like it.
You like that? Listen, Julie, am I going back to Texas, I think, soon?
I'll have to look at the calendar, but I think we are looking at potentially a Dallas. Yeah.
Terry, we're going to help you with the prospecting for sure.
More Texas.
Long Beach, New York. Hey, Tom, how you doing?
Hey, it's Thomas Burke. Hey, Tom.
You know, Sophia, thank you. I'm looking dapper today. I got dressed for you all.
Sophia, you're a great power agent. Thanks for all you do in our closed power agent group. You're an awesome sharer.
I actually had a seminar this morning, and I just got here in time for the webinar, so I didn't have time to get casual. So this is Darryl, the speaker.
Nice.
And
I like it.
Now I was going to say something. What the heck was I going to say? Get your mobile. Why are you looking down? Oh, Long Beach, New York. You know, I started real estate in Oceanside. Actually, I started in Baldwin, and then I moved to Oceanside. I managed McLever Realty on Long Beach Road there. What used to be the diner just by the dump, right across from the dump. Anyway,
that's a heck of a landmark.
Only Tom knows what I'm talking about. All right, Julie, I think it's time. Yes. It is 12 o'clock.
All right, let's do this.
Let me turn off Dancing Queen. Although it's one of my favorite songs. All right, there we go. All right.
Yay.
Okay.
All right. Good morning, good afternoon for everybody. Thank you so much for being with us today. We're super excited to have you here, and we're super excited to share this month's topic, which is the Breakthrough Business Plan for 2019. What we'd like you to do is to get the most from this webinar is to take notes, and text your questions using the control panel. We're going to get to as many as we can. This is a lot of information in a short period of time, though. So we will try and get your questions in, though. I just want to make a little differential. If you've got questions, please use the Q&A panel. If you've got technical issues, please use the chat support. You'll find this both in your GoToMeeting panel there. Okay. If you'd like to connect with Darryl after the webinar, he's on all social media platforms at Darryl Speaks. So come join us online and keep the conversation going. Darryl's the author of 3 best-selling books, all by McGraw-Hill Publishing. And that first one there, How to Become a Power Agent in Real Estate, is actually the best-selling book to real estate agents on Amazon. So we're really excited about that. We just got some really great news about that as well. So he might be sharing that later in the day. Darryl was named one of the top 5 coaches in real estate. And if you can't make out those other folks, that's okay. They're not here today. We're here with the lovely, smiling, make you smile, Darryl Davis. Darryl is also the recipient, excuse me, of the CSP designation, which is only awarded to less than 2% of speakers worldwide. So on that note, Darryl, we're going to let you take it away and get started. We're super excited.
All right.
Go for it.
Thank you, Julie. Good morning, everybody. So welcome to the webinar. I just want to let you know that we did this webinar in December, and we got incredible rave reviews from it. I'll be honest with you, I thought, hey, let's just take that webinar and rebroadcast it, meaning it would look like a live webinar, but it would actually be the recording from December. And Julie said, no, don't you ever do that. You have to do it live. So this is a repeat performance because Julie made me do it. But this is happening live, so really ask your questions. Now, you're going to see a website on your screen there at the bottom, thepowerprogram.com/webinar bonus. I want you to write that down if you can, because that's going to be important. We have some gifts to give you. You'll find it on that website, and so that's it. Now, 2 questions I want to address. People ask, when am I coming to their area, which we started having even this morning on the chat. If you want to write down that website, or just remember Power Agent Seminar, that usually has the schedule of where I'm going. And that website is my free seminar. So if I'm coming to a city and it's free, it's open to everybody, that's where it's going to be posted. Also, if you're in the tri-state area, or if you have miles, or you want to fly in on January 30th, I'm doing the full day listing workshop. And that is where I call FSBOs live from the stage. My batting average, if I call 4, I'll schedule 3. And we have about 400 people that we'll have this year. And it's 1 full day on just building inventory. So it's happening live. We only do it once a year. We only do it on Long Island. And so that's that information, although we're close to selling out. The second question is, this webinar a sales pitch? Absolutely not. I am going, for those of you that are on here for the first time, you will find out by the end of this webinar that it's not. But I do want to be clear about something so there isn't confusion. Our coaching program, the Power Program, is a part of that training is these monthly webinars. So technically, this webinar is for our students, but we open it up to non-power agents. So from time to time, I am going to be talking just to our members, to our power agents, and pointing stuff out to them. So just be aware of that. And for those of you that are not familiar with the Power Program, I am going to cover it just for a couple of minutes, just so you know what it is. This is a program, a training that is basically a year-long process. And our power agents, on average, double their production over their previous year. Because we figure if you improve 10% a month, that's 120% in a year. So we're always encouraging our students to focus on monthly improvements. And if I were to put that to dollars and cents, our average student generates an additional 33 grand over the previous year. So I'm going to be pulling today's webinar. I'm going to be pulling from the training to share with everybody. And just here's the other thing. It's a $27 a month membership, and you can cancel any time. There's not a long contract. Now, for those of you that are not power agents, you're going to get an opportunity to get 30 days free today. And I'm going to tell you why that's important, because you'll be able to, you're going to see some slides that you're going to want. they're on the Power Program website. You'll be able to print them out in the original format, right? And so you'll get a copy of today's slides. So it's almost worth it to sign up for the 30 days to grab everything, and then you can cancel. I just told you how to rip me off. Okay, let me talk to the Power Agents for just a minute before we get into the content. Power Agents, don't forget that the classroom on the website is broken up into categories. And so when I'm teaching from one of these categories, I'll point it out. So for example, if you click on a category, you'll see on the screen, it says listing, inventory, prospect. All of those links are downloadable forms and checklists and flyers. There's over 200 scripts and dialogues and flyers for you. What's real important is the what's new, slide. When you go to that category, that's where we put all the new stuff every month. And this month, we've created a calendar for you on what you can do each day to improve your business. And we do that calendar every month. So, Julie, is February's calendar up yet?
Nope.
No, because we still have.
Yeah, usually the last week of the month.
Yeah, so we still have a couple of weeks for that. So there are some samples of what's new. And let me just. That breakthrough business plan, I'm going to be teaching from it today. It's a 32-page business plan to help you guys in 2019, and we're going to be covering that today. Don't forget, we have the monthly interviews of our top Power Agents each month, and I want you to pay attention, Power Agents, to the website, the closed group. I've been posting articles about how the market is changing from a seller's market not to a buyer's market. It's what I'm calling now a realtor's market. We're in the sweet spot in 2019. This is the type of market where we make a lot of money. It's fair to the sellers, fair to the buyers. It's not lopsided. It's a balanced market. So on that on the Facebook group for Power Agents, there's a lot of new stuff that we're posting. And also don't forget about our weekly group coaching calls every Monday for 1 hour from 11 to 12, where you can talk to me live. And of course, all of these webinars are recorded every month. These monthly webinars are there for you. All right, let me skip to the new agent tab is awesome in the Power Program. But let's go now to this topic. So with that said, so that's the Power Agents. I finished talking to them. Gang, let's talk about why we're all here. There is a 32-page business plan on how to have a breakthrough this year. I'm going to be teaching from this 32-page business plan. And here's I'm sorry, it's 37 pages. I forgot we added the 5. So here's the first thing, gang. To make sure that 2019 is a breakthrough year for you, you have to first be honest where you are financially. And you can take agents and put them into 3 categories. I want you to think in which category you're in. So are you just surviving and getting by in your business? So that's one level. The second level would be you're maintaining, meaning that you're not struggling financially. You're getting by. You're ready to grow to the next level. You've got your bills covered, business and personal. And then the next level is where you really start to break through financially. Based on the level that you're currently at, you're going to have a different business plan for each level. And so we're going to go through those business plans. To help you decide which level you're at, here's some suggestions I have. Is you got to know your numbers. The Profit, this is one of my favorite television shows. I DVR this thing. I watch it I probably watch one episode every night before I go to bed. And because it's kind of like a teaching, there's so much teaching things about running a business. And one of the things, the star of that show, Market Lemons, what he says, if you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. And for a lot of us as real estate salespeople, we're usually really good in connecting with people, talking to people, but running our business like a business is not always a strength of ours. So let me share with you how you can know your numbers. You'll see on the screen is that I've got here 4 categories, right? Personal survival money. That's focusing on paying your personal bills. So if you were to take all of your credit cards, your mortgage payments, your gas expenses, what does that number come out to? Now, by the way, I'm going to share something with you. If you don't know these numbers, you should do them. But I'm going to tell you something from personal experience. I know a lot of us don't take the time to do these numbers because we think if we have to get it down to the penny, like we've got to go back to our records and go to checks and go to statements. Don't be so anal about doing this, because if you burden yourself and try and be like a CPA, you're not going to do it at all because it'll seem too overwhelming. So most of us know what we pay on our Visa card, our MasterCard, our mortgage payment. So you don't even have to check the bills. If you sat down and just added them up, rough numbers, that would be your personal survival. Business is obviously your dues, your E&O insurance, anything, business cards. If you want to throw some of the gas in there, have a sense of how much your business survival is, income that you need. Income tax, obviously, we got to pay Uncle Sam, although with this government shutdown, if you don't pay this year, they may not notice. Okay. And then, of course, we got, oh, those poor people. And then you've got miscellaneous. You just throw. So there's your total. Now, if you look at this, when you total up this number, you're still just surviving. And when I've had students do this, gang, they're kind of shocked to discover how much money they need just to break even. Like they thought it was less than what it came out to. And so this could be an eye-opener for you. I'm not going to teach this. This is self-explanatory. And for those of you that get a copy of these slides at the end, you'll have this and you can go over it. But a lot of us have seen this where you take your income and you work backwards. If, let's say, 75% of your business comes from listings sold and the other from buyers, how many listing appointments? And if you look at the bottom there, P is how many calls do you have to make in a week in order to hit your goals? We're not going over that today. I'm going to get into some other stuff, but it's good for you to know this numbers to have you stay focused. Another thing I'm going to suggest that you consider, and this is something we have for the power agents, is to look at your balance wheel in life. What you would do is you look at this, you've got your business, your finances, your health, family, romance, personal growth. If you were to score it from a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being life is grand, where would you rate each one of these categories? And then the second number would be, well, where do you want to be, right? And when you do this, you can kind of see where your life is not in balance and where you should put a little bit of extra effort. Another thing that you can do, which I really love this, is writing down 3 things that you would like to do in each one of those categories. Now, Warren Buffett taught me this, that he has this concept of when he sets goals, he sets 3 goals, and he doesn't focus on 30. He focuses on just 3, and then when he accomplishes one of those, so now he has 2 left, he'll take one of the other 30 that he has and he'll put it on the list. So in other words, he's only thinking of 3 things at a time. Now, I took it a step further and I said, okay, I wanted to create a chart for the power agents that if you were to look at 1, 2, or 3 things that you must or committed to accomplishing in these specific areas in your life, you don't have to come up with 3, so don't stress about it, because you've got 2, 4, you got 8 times 3 is 24. There's 24 items there, and that might be too overwhelming. So let's say in your physical environment, you want to just clean the house. You got to make sure that you get a better system in your clothes, for example, cleaning that up. Or your business, it might be to make 6 figures this year, or finance to pay off your debt. I'd be fine if you came up with just one life-altering thing that you're committed to in 2019 in each one of these categories. And then hang this sucker up and stay focused on it. See, the new year, our problem is staying focused. One of the things you can do, too, is create a vision board where and we've all seen this, where you can take photos and words and put it on a poster board and have that to help you stay focused. I think that's a powerful thing. I do them all. You can't see it here, but I have things hanging up just like the vision board. Now, power agents, some of the things that I just showed you, those forms, you'll find it in the time and money management. So that life balance wheel, the 3 things per category, all of those are in that time management for you. So if we're going to be honest, if we look at after we do our numbers, gang, so the first part is getting a sense of where we are financially. If you need now business, if you're financially or in survival mode, you need to focus on generating now business. With maintenance, you're going to focus on future business. And then when it comes to next level, financial freedom. So here's what I'm saying, gang. Based on the category that you're at, if you're survival, what you should be focused on is a business plan that generates now business. If you are past survival and you're in maintenance, like you're doing well financially, you're stable, then you want to plan for future business. And then, of course, financial freedom will be the third. I'm going to now teach and give you ideas in each one of these business plans: now, future, and financial freedom. The now business plan, here's what I suggest. First of all, the problem that we're having if you need now business is you might be having a challenge with cash flow, where you're having more month at the end of the money. And so how do we generate cash flow in real estate? Because the problem in real estate, our money goes up and it goes down. How do we have consistent cash flow? Well, let's look at other businesses that sell things. For example, a candy store, if you were going to get into selling candy, what you need, you'll see there is you need candy. So in other words, candy is the business. Candy is the inventory. Some of you have been with me before. You've heard me talk about stuff like this. If you open up a bakery, you know, what you need is pastries, right? You need the cakes and the cookies and that's the inventory. So a candy store is candy, bakery is pastries, and a car dealership, it's cars. So when you think about it, for the most part, every business has a product that they're selling, and that product is their inventory. In real estate, or I'm sorry, and then I have the shoe. I forgot about the shoe store analogy, which is the one I use all the time. But the shoes, if you have a shoe store, the shoes are your inventory. Now, what happens if you have no inventory, if you have no shoes? Well, you have an empty shoe store, right? If you have no cars, you have a parking lot. Now, every store that doesn't have inventory, if it's an empty store like this, is that store costing you money? Of course it is. You still have to pay the lights, you have to pay utilities, you have to pay the rent, and if you have staff, you have to have. So here's my point. In real estate, our inventory in real estate is, let's go back, is our listings. So part of what we need to do, if you need now business, what you should be focused on more than anything else is just stocking your shelves with listings. It's really important that you have a business model focused on building inventory and building listing inventory, right? So let me share with you some things on how to do that. So first of all, you've got to have a really good listing conversation, because if you don't have a strong listing appointment, you're not going to want to generate appointments. You'll actually subconsciously sabotage yourself, because if you've got an appointment and you don't know what to say on the appointment, you really will subconsciously sabotage and screw up when it comes to calling FSBOs, expires, or getting appointments. So let me share with you some ideas on how to improve your listing appointment. So somebody asked me, said on the webinar, said, "Oh, Darryl, you look dapper. I usually do these webinars relaxed, not dressed like this." But I had just ran in from a seminar this morning on Long Island, and I told this group, it was just a quick little keynote thing, and I told the agents, you know, if you were to take all of the things that we do in real estate, you know, brokers, open house, public open house, yard sign, internet, advertising, email, all that stuff, you cannot cover all of that on the listing appointment because it's too much. You're going to bore people. And plus, if you do a listing appointment like a fire hose, you're going to overwhelm and confuse the sellers. And when people are confused, they don't take action. So really what you need to do is lead with your best things that you want to talk about on the listing appointment. So for example, when I did a listing, first of all, my strength is FSBOs. When I call FSBOs live, if I call 4, I'll schedule 3 appointments. When I go on FSBO appointments, if I speak to 10 sellers, I don't list them all. I'll get maybe 7 out of 10, which I think is pretty good. When I would go into the listing appointment, I would lead with the things that I'm most passionate about. MLS, yard sign, not yard sign, sorry. I always led with MLS, brokers open house, public open house, and then yard sign was the last. And usually what would happen on a FSBO appointment, they would interrupt me after only 4 of those marketing tools, say, just give me the paperwork, let's do this. And the reason why that happened, I believe, is 2 reasons. Number one is I use metaphors and analogies. We're going to talk about that. But the second thing is I led with the things I was most passionate about. So, gang, what I'm trying to tell you is you should sit down and write out what are the 5 top things that you're most passionate about that you think will help a homeowner sell their house quicker for more money than if they were a FSBO. So you're leading with your passion. Now, Power Agents, we created for you this simple checklist on how to do the whole listing appointment. How to validate yourself, validate your company, validate the industry, talk about why realtors are so powerful, handling objections, your marketing plan, etc. And you're going to, Power Agents, you're going to find that checklist on the tab called Listing Appointment. Now, in the listing appointment, there's a whole bunch of other stuff, but I just want to point out that checklist. What I want to talk to everybody about now on the listing appointment, like I can't teach the whole listing appointment in this call, in this webinar. I want to give you just some things in each one of these categories. So for now business, we need to improve our listing conversation. And one of the best ways you can do that is using metaphors and analogies. Let me give you an example of a few. So when you're talking to a for sale by owner, you would say, Mr. and Mrs. Hanahana, with selling a house, finding the buyer would be like fishing, right? If you wanted to catch a buyer or catch a fish, there's 2 ways that you can do that, right? You know, you can go out to a lake and you can throw out a fishing line. Now, the fishing line would be your marketing tool. So, for example, when you run an ad on, let's say, FSBO.com, all right, that's a fishing line. If you put a for sale sign in your front lawn, that's a fishing line. And so as a homeowner trying to sell the house yourself, you're throwing out these lines trying to catch the fish. Now, you see at my company, at Power Realty, because of all the marketing that we have, that we bring to bear, my company spends hundreds of thousands of dollars in marketing, plus we have all of our agents, plus what I'm doing. In other words, I want you to imagine a fishing trawler. That if you were to go out and take a fishing trawler and throw a net out into the ocean, you can bring a lot more buyers or fish on board. Now, here's what's good about that. Let's say you have all these fish on board. You can now be more selective to pick the best fish, right? Now, once you pick the best fish, you don't eat the fish right then and there. You've got to prep the fish, right? You've got to scale, you've got to clean it, you've got to gut it. You know, basically prep the fish. Now, once you prep the fish, you cook the fish. Now, I don't have to tell you, but cooking a fish, it's a delicate thing. If you're off by a few minutes, too long or too little, you ruin the dish. So time is very important when you're cooking a fish. And then if you do a great job, you bring it to the dining room table. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Hana, that's what it's like hiring a real estate agent. See, with all the marketing that I do, it's like throwing a fishing net out there and bringing all these buyers on board. Then what I do is together we pick the best qualified buyer of all the fish that want to buy our house. Now, once we find the buyer, the work continues. See, now we got to prep the buyer. Before we commit and go into contract, we got to make sure they have a good FICO score. They have their monies in line. They have their paperwork done. So once we've prepped the buyer, then we commit to them by going to contract. Now, going to contract, like cooking a fish, time is very important. We've got to make sure, as your agent, that they order the appraiser and the engineer inspection and the loan application. In other words, we're very sensitive time, so that way we can go to the dining table, or in this case, the closing table. So there's an example using a metaphor. Here's another one. Let's say a homeowner says to you, well, bring me a buyer and I'll pay you a commission. Let me tell you why that doesn't work, Mr. and Mrs. Hanahana. Let's pretend that your daughter is going to get married. And so you want the best wedding cake for your daughter, right? So there's a few bakers you can choose from. You're not sure. So what you do is you go to each 6 bakers and you say to each one of them, listen, I want the best wedding cake you possibly can make. Now I'm asking these other bakers, whichever baker bakes me the best cake, that's the cake that we're going to order and bring to the wedding. My question, Mr. Ms. Hana, how many of these 6 bakers are going to spend the time, money, and resources to bake you the best cake? None of them. When you say to the real estate community, whoever brings me the best buyer, that's the one I'm going to pay a commission to. You don't have any one agent rolling up their sleeves, spending their time, money, and energy to produce the best possible result for you. This is why you need to hire an agent so they can be committed to your success. Here's another one. I love this when they say, well, yeah, but I've sold things before. I say, well, when you're in the picture, you can't see the frame. Sometimes when you're so close to a situation, it's hard to see what you don't know that you don't know. It's hard to see. My job as your agent is to look outside of the frame, see what you can't see, and bring that to the conversation, bring that to the marketing to get your house sold. I mean, when you think about it, let me see if this is the, yeah, let me, I was me cheating. I want to make sure I knew what the next, what the next slide was. So this is, by the way, there's a tip. See, I prefer to do listing appointments in a ring binder so you can see the pages in advance versus
Nice.
a PowerPoint. You know, it's hard to do that. But anyway, so when you think about it, you know, there's a lot of legal stuff happening. Anybody follows the news. And you know what's interesting to me? An attorney, if an attorney was getting sued, they could go to court and represent themselves. Why? Because they are a licensed attorney. They can represent themselves. But even an attorney who is, even a famous attorney who could represent themselves, they still hire other attorneys. So think about that, Mr. and Mrs. Hunter. An attorney who could save themselves a ton of money can represent themselves, and even they don't. They'll hire somebody else. Why? Because they're too emotionally attached to the result. They can't see things clearly. What is that in the movies? They're compromised. You know, when some people have to, they're compromised because they're too emotionally attached to a situation. They have to pull themselves out and have somebody. That's the value of working with a realtor. When you're selling a house yourself, you're compromised because you're too close to the situation. I mean, if an attorney will hire another attorney, shouldn't you hire a real estate agent? Here's another one. They say, well, we can always come down later. Let's ask top dollar. We can always come down later. Here's the problem with that, Mr. and Ms. Hanana. The longer something sits on the shelves, it becomes stale. So, for example, if a loaf of bread sits too long on the shelves at a supermarket, what do they have to do? When it becomes stale, they have to slash the price to get rid of it. The same thing is true in real estate. If you sit on the market too long, your house becomes stale, and in order for us to sell it, we've got to drop the price. Now, let me show you something that's interesting when it comes to stale bread. Oh, no, that's the metaphor. So what we need to do is tell the homeowner we need to price it to sell. We don't want to sit on the market too long, otherwise it'll become stale. Now, gang, let me tell you, I don't know if I have time for this, but I'm going to share this because I think this is important. The reason why metaphors and analogies work so well is because studies have shown that whenever we go to a movie or a motivational speech and the speaker is using metaphors and analogies, we usually can relate to the story or the metaphor because we have a personal, similar experience that happened in our life. So when we're hearing the metaphor, the person talking to us, we're not just hearing what they're saying, we're feeling what they're saying. The power of metaphors and analogies, you're not talking to people's heads, you're talking to their heart. They're feeling what you're trying to communicate. Here's something else too. When you use metaphors and analogies, you're using your own words, not a memorized scripts. That's why I am against memorized scripts. The only exception is when you're calling FSBOs to have the dialogue that we give our students. But other than that, a listing appointment should be metaphors and analogies. Now, you can take metaphors and analogies and put them into two categories. There is handling objections. So when a homeowner says we can always come down later, like I just did with the stale bread, that's an objection handling with a metaphor. The other broker said they'll charge less commission. So you might use the hammer analogy that we teach our students. The other broker told me they'll take a shorter term listing. You know, then you can do the airplane analogy. So you want to have analogies for each one of the objections, but the second one you want to do is marketing tools. If you were to ask me why a FSBO or how I was able to get FSBOs to interrupt me after just 4 marketing tools, they would interrupt me and say, Darryl, just give us the paperwork, is because whenever I presented MLS, I used a metaphor. When I presented Broker's Open House, I used a metaphor. Yard sign, lockbox, feature sheet. I would explain any marketing tool using a metaphor, and I want to give you some examples. Now, by the way, oh yeah, I need to tell the power agents. I told you, gang, I need to talk to the power agents every so often. Gang, Power Agents, when you go to the powerprogram.com site and you click on webinars, you're going to see a bunch of webinars, one where we just did the FSBO expireds, where I did the dialogue, but the other one is the May webinar. I went through the entire listing appointment, which is nothing but a plethora of metaphors for marketing tools. So I want you to make sure that you check that one out, because that will go through MLS, yard sign, lockbox, feature sheet. So here's the next thing. When you sit down with a homeowner to improve your listing point, you'll help break the ice. And there's a couple of ways you can break the ice, but the favorite ones I like is to give them a gift. So for example, you can find stuff like this on the internet. We created for our Power Agents this book that you can download for children, 8 ways to get kids excited about the move. Now, the reason why we did this book too is because we're passionate about children. My company, we have a foundation for children that 10% of our Power Agent revenue goes to our foundation for. So we're very passionate about children. And the thing about children is especially the younger ones, they can't articulate the feelings that they have in a move. And so the kid may look like they're okay because they're not saying I'm going to miss my house, but it is traumatic for children, and you'll be shocked at what a young age it can. So we created this, and I'm sure you can find free things like this on the internet. But Power Agents, you have that also on the listing appointment on the website. Also, talking about homeowner safety, if somebody's going to be a FSBO, if you sit down with a FSBO and say, Mr. Ms. Hana, if you're deciding to, take this on, there is security concerns that you should be aware of. So what I've done is I have these 10 tips to help you, be mindful when trying to sell it on your own. I just want to give this as a gift to you. So gang, my point is when you're on a listing appointment, especially with a FSBO, let me go back, hang on. If you knew you have children, you say, here's a booklet we have for our clients that have children. It's really powerful. And you can go through just a little bit because it's a simple, or here's a checklist. So this is a great icebreaker when you go on that listing point right at the top of the conversation. All right, here's the next thing, getting organized. Let's talk about getting organized. I have a gift for everybody on this call. Now, Power Agents should be aware of Redx. And if you're not using Redx, you need to get signed up. Going into this year, this company, what they do is they give you expireds, FSBOs for rent by owners, pre-foreclosures. You can do an a la carte. You can just sign up with expireds or just with FSBOs. I want to encourage you guys to check this out because the powerful thing about Redx is let me see if the next slide, let me check it out. No, I don't have samples of what it looks like because I didn't want to teach Redx, but it's basically a CRM for listing leads. And they do all the heavy lifting for you. It is absolutely by far awesome. Now, here's the gift that I have for you guys on this webinar. They have a $149 setup fee, and then there's a monthly fee. It goes as high as $359. That's the highest. That's if you got everything. But if you only got FSBOs and expireds, it's like $80 or something. My students do not pay for the first 30 days. So for the first 30 days, it's free, and then after that, the average student spends $140, and the setup fee is free. So even if you're not a Power Agent on this call, I'm giving you this gift. This is a Power Agent gift, but everybody's getting it, where you don't pay the setup fee and you have 30 days free. Now, what's awesome about this is if you kick the tires and check it out for 30 days, you're going to get a ton of FSBO expired leads. Here's how you get this gift. Is if you go to this website, you'll see it says darrylspecial.com. Don't go there now because I still have a lot more to teach you. I'm not done. I didn't even get to future business plan yet. darrylspecial.com, and the promo code is SMILE. And just make a note, it has to be all caps. And when you go there, it'll look like they're going to charge you. They're not. It's automated. So you put in your credit card, and it's 00. After 30 days, if you don't cancel, they assume you want to continue, and then the automated system will charge you on day 31. So pay attention. But anyway, that's our gift to you. Use proven dialogue for now business. So let me give you, for example, as far as making calls. Now, our Power Agents, we give them the FSBO dialogue expired and for rent by owners. But here's the point that I want to make for you guys. Whether you're using my dialogue or somebody else's, I want you to have dialogue so you don't, it's a security blanket for you. So let me just, give me a second here. Don't look at the screen, just look at me. So my dialogue's proven, but forget that. As long as you have dialogue, because part of when you're making calls to FSBOs and expireds, if you have dialogue that is a security blanket for you, it'll help you make the calls. So said another way, if you're afraid to make the calls and you don't know what to say, that's a double whammy. You're probably not going to make the calls. But if you have some dialogue, even if it's horrible dialogue, but at least you feel like, okay, I got something to say, that will help remove some of your pressure and stress of picking up the phone, because that alone is troublesome for some of us to get past that fear. So having something that you feel confident with will help you. And the power agents, the dialogue that you want to use is on the prospecting tab. That's the incredible best dialogue. I already talked about the webinar that actually demonstrates it. Okay. Now, the next thing is commit to a schedule. So if you're going to generate now business and you're going to focus on FSBOs expireds right now, because here's the thing about FSBOs expireds, we know they want to sell now. And that's what we need is now business. You have to commit to a schedule. Like, for example, some of you, like if you go to the gym, this is actually me. Okay, that's not really me. But anyway, if you go to the gym.
Goals, man, goals.
That was goals. Yeah, that's a goal. No, that's okay. My idea of a good workout is I fill up my bathtub, I pull the plug, and I fight the current. To me, that's, but you know how some of you crazy people love going to the gym? So, and if you don't go to the gym, all of us can relate to that. People who are fanatical about the gym, here's what they do. They don't work their gym schedule around their life. Listen to this. They work their life around their gym schedule. In other words, they're so committed to working out. They have certain days and times, no matter what, they're going to hit the gym. And if they miss a day or a time, they feel lethargic for a day or two until they get back. In other words, they have, on a cellular level, they have trained their body to crave working out. That's what we have to do. We have to go to the prospecting gym. We have to get used to. Now, it didn't start that way for any of these gym people. It took them time. The same thing is true about us in prospecting. We're not going to want to go to the prospecting gym, but we've got to make that commitment to certain days and certain times and keep to that schedule. And eventually, you're going to want to go to the prospecting gym. It won't be an effort for you. So here's 2 suggestions I have for committing to a schedule. I used to call around dinner time, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That's when I did it. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 6, 7, and 8. That was my schedule every week. That was when I went to the prospecting gym. The second option, which I've had students do this, is very successful, is they would just make 2 to 4 calls every day. That's it. Now, driving around, because the great thing about this is if you're going to showings or going to previews or going to brokers open house, whatever, you can always squeeze in 2 calls a day while you're driving around. Just have the headphone, the wireless, whatever you're driving. Hi, I'm calling about the house for sale. It's still available. Hi, this is Darryl Davis. Property. The reason why I'm calling one of your worker broker sell your property. So I'm trying to do it on your own. In other words, you can always squeeze in 2 or 4 calls a day. Also, we created these little do not disturb signs.
I love it.
I've got this big class we're doing January 30th. I put do not disturb. I closed my office doors because people keep bothering me. I turned off my message. I said, leave me alone. I got to create some magic. And I put the do not disturb. So sometimes we have to do that. Tell everybody, leave me alone. Use other motivational devices to help you stay focused. Our power agents, everybody can create this. It's an inventory chart. It tells you, hey, listen, whoops. Oh, I had 6 listings. Now I only got 2. I better get bit. My shoe store is getting empty. Let me get some. I'm up to 5. Let me tell you something. I love the inventory chart because it keeps you focused on the concept of building inventory. Print something like this out, hang it up on your wall, and track it out each month. And I'm going to tell you something. I guarantee you, if this is what your inventory chart looks like, that's what your cash flow is going to look like in 2019. Another thing you can do is is a dot board, and the next level, that whole vision board. The dot board works like this. Every time you get a piece of business, you give yourself a dot. Like, you got a listing, yay. You got another listing, yay. And then all of a sudden, whoa, wow, I'm really kicking butt in January. One of my listings sold and a buyer bought a house. So this is the dot board. I have students that tell me they love the dot board because they immediately reward themselves when they do a piece of business. You don't clutter it up with names of sellers or addresses or commissions. It's just a dot. You go to Stationery, get a dot, and you track your production from month to month. And I'm telling you, Power Agents have told us that's very motivational. You want to hang around positive people. This is, my mother taught me this once. She said, show me your friends and you show me who you are. You want to stay away from negative people. And I wasn't going to use this photo, but you'll notice because I got that big pimple, so I cover it up. Okay, but anyway, you want to be around. But yes, I'm half Irish, in case some of you are wondering. Half the time, but my mother used to tell me, you hang around positive people and inspires you. Hang around negative people, drags you down. So make sure you're being around positive people in 2019 that are going to encourage you. When I ran the marathon in, let me just check my slides here. Give me a second here, gang. I want to see where I am in this whole conversation. Yeah, let me just finish this here and go to that. Boy, look at the time we have. Let me skip over the marathon because it's going to take too much time. Let's talk about future business. I realize I'm taking too much time here. As far as future business, gang, there's three categories: your farming, your sphere of influence, and social media. So tackling farming, here's some suggestions I have. First of all, establish a niche market for yourself. And it could be like geographic, price range, co-op. So this is now planting the seeds to have people contact you. So that's your niche market. The second thing that you want to do is when you're looking at your niche market, make sure that it makes sense financially. You know, one of the things I recorded on just how to fill a form out like this, based on 150 people in a farm, if this is how much it costs you and how much revenue you can make. In other words, you want to actually make sure you're farming a productive area.
Yes.
Power Agents, that recording on that spreadsheet is on the farming tab. So there's the spreadsheet and the tutorial video. It's way too long. It took me 30 minutes just to go over that. I will tell you, as far as farming, doing mailings, according to the Direct Mail Association, they said mailings have a 4.4% response rate compared to emails, which is only 0.12. In other words, what's old is new again. So doing mailings is a great thing. So let me give you some suggestions in working your farm. First of all, you get your farm area and mail them an introductory letter. And for example, dear Mr. and Mrs. Hanna, my name is Darryl Davis. I specialize in selling in your home. I've chosen your area because it's delightful, blah, blah, blah. So mail some kind of introductory letter. That's the first thing you would do. The second thing you would do is just keep bombarding them with monthly mailings of just listed, just sold, or an update. Now, you can get postcards, you can do newsletters, a lot of mailings you can do. But let me show you, and there's what I mean. There's so many different marketing things that you can do when it comes to farming and future business. Canvassing, social media, you can make a whole business out of doing this. But I'm going to show you something that'll be real simple. Like you can do newsletters. This is what our Power Agents have, is we give them newsletters that they can send out. But here's an example. Here's farming letter number 1. Dear neighbor, I'm delighted to announce I just sold that I've sold a home. So it's a just sold letter. Watch this, the second one. Here's dear Hunter. Here, I thought you'd like to know all the homes that have recently sold in your subdivision. Now, it doesn't say that I sold it, but if it's on my letterhead, my photo, it looks like I did. Here's the third one. Here's just an update of all the houses that have sold in the last, we have a wrong year on there. The last, here's the new listings that came for sale. Here's all the ones that sold. Now, let me see if I can do this. Hang on. What you can do is just rotate between these 3 letters, gang. So every month, so month 1, you send this letter. Month 2, you send that. Month 3, you send that. And then month 4, you go back to the first one. If you keep just sending out these 3 letters, showing them, here's what's sold, here's new, and on your letterhead, it's going to brand you as somebody who's doing all the listing and selling in that farm area. Those 3 letters are powerful. Now, here's another thing. Over the phone market, CMA. Some people be interested to know how much their house is worth, but they don't want somebody to do it in person. So you can do it over the phone. But here's the tip for you. When you do it over the phone, give them a big price range and tell them in order to get a more accurate number, you'd need to come see the house. Now, when you have the first phone conversation, you'll build that rapport, which they'll let you in on to give a more accurate one. Power agents on the call, all of that stuff that I just showed you, hang on, is in the farming tab of the classroom, okay? Now, as far as your sphere of influence, gang, here's what I want you to start to think. For every 10 people in your sphere, it should generate 1 sale. So watch this. If you had 100 people in your sphere, that should generate 10 sales a year for you. Now, you can get really complicated and do a sphere of influence calculator, figuring out based on your commission. You know, this over here says basically if you want to make $100,000 on an average $5,000 commission, based on this math, you would need 132 people in your sphere to generate 6 figures. Now, let me give you some suggestions. I'm going to skip over that because it's not important. So you want to have a CRM to help you with building and working your past clients in your farm area. You know, the 3 common ones in the Power Program, we vet these vendors, but the 3 common ones that we hear from people that we've looked into that seems to be the best is Top Producer, Lion Desk, and Wise Agent. Now, there are other companies out there, but these seem to be, from our power agents, the 3 top favorites. And when it comes to farming and self-promotion, it's really important that you use a CRM to keep track. The power agents, there's other companies. So I just showed you Top Producer, Lion Desk. Those are the top 3. But if you're interested in what to know the other ones are, it's under the recommended vendor tab under classroom. Okay. Oh, don't forget to add when you start doing your self-promotion and sphere of influence campaign to add the orphans into your database. The orphans are people who bought or sold a house through your company, and the agent who is involved in that transaction doesn't work for the company anymore. Ask the broker for that information and adopt those people as one of your clients, and then you'll introduce yourself. Another thing that you can do, power agents, this neighborhood market report certificate, which is essentially a CMA. But I like using the term neighborhood market report. Look at what the subtitle says. Find out what your neighbors paid for their home. That's powerful. See, some homeowners, they won't be interested in a CMA, but they'll be interested to know what the Johnsons down the block paid for the house. So we find that calling it not a CMA, but a neighborhood market report with the subtitle, find out what your neighbors pay for the house, that will get a ton more response than mailing out free CMAs. And of course, you can mail out the certificate with a cover letter. Also, you want to start to think about, if you stop by your past clients, that you give them some gifts. Julie, did we give this as a gift to people, this slide right here? Let me see. Yes, we did. Gang, we're sending you this slide right here, everybody, the 10 smile stops. You know, creative ideas to send to your, to stop by your sellers, your past clients with a gift. One of the things you can do is map out like the year. We did this for our power agents. Like, you know, what you should do with your past clients is in January, if they sold a house, if they bought a house last year, you send them the HUD statement. You can offer an updated CMA February, tax tips in March. So in other words, you could send out a little gift or something every month. I personally think this is an overkill. Like, we gave you every month, but I think if you just stay in touch with your clients every other month or even every quarter, like, because these people know you already, you don't have to hit them every month, but you do want to remind them that you're still in the business. Mastering social media. I want to talk about this. I love the social media because what's powerful about this is that it's like digital farming and it costs you no money. And the favorite platforms that I like for power agents is Instagram and Facebook. Instagram, because we're, you know, real estate's a very photogenic industry, and Facebook, because it's Facebook. And I'm going to show you something very powerful. Let me go back to set this up. I love teaching this. in my community, I live in Shoreham, Wading River School District, so we have a Facebook closed group. You probably have a closed Facebook group in the farm area that you work. So let me just show you an example of mine, right? So you'll see on the screen, Shoreham Wading River Community Group. So here's what happened. So there's a downtown pumpkin festival thing that we had. Okay. And here somebody's looking for a recommendation of an orthodontist, right? What I suggest that you do is own these groups, like participate in this closed group. I'll give you, for instance, this person, Laura, who's looking for an orthodontist because she broke her foot. What you should do is respond there. Say, oh my gosh, Laura, I'm really sorry that you did that. I hope you're okay, blah, blah, blah. Here's a orthopedist that I've heard good things about. Okay. Now watch this. Here's another one. Please help. My dog Milo got lost. So you're a real estate agent. Michelle, I'm really sorry that you lost Milo. Can I help you put up some signs in the neighborhood? Okay. So that's that one. Here's another one. Oh, look, hooray. They found Milo. Wait, I'm going back. They found Milo. All right, now, congratulations. I'm so happy. Okay, so here's my point, gang. What you should do is consider yourself like the admin of your Facebook closed group in the community of farming, meaning that whenever somebody needs something, respond, participate, comment, Now, for every 10 of those, you can throw in a real estate something. Wait, I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong slide. Hey, here's Karen. She's having an open house on Saturday. Oh, Karen, you mean the one that helped with the pumpkin thing and helped find the dog? And hey, Karen, I'm coming. So you give 10 value things and then one real estate thing. That's how you own a farm area on Facebook. I love teaching that. It costs you no money. Okay. Power Agents, we created these 8 great ways to be an influencer and contributor to your farm, your community Facebook group. Like you can do videos, you can do recipes, there's ideas. You're going to find that also on the farming page of the Power Program. Also, there's little social media things you can post, you know, looking for a home you can be comfortable in, I can help. And then you put hashtag, this is good Instagram stuff. We created these little things that you can post on social media to advertise. I'm not going to go through all those, but this is great that you have real estate Instagram motivational quotes or tips, and it's coming from you. It brands you. Yeah. Okay. Now here's some suggestions on what to use for posting. Hootsuite, Buffer, and Sprout Social. Buffer is the one that we use. I think that's the best. Julie, I've been messing with Sprout Social, but it doesn't connect to a personal page on Facebook. So anyway, my favorite for everybody is Buffer. It's very inexpensive, and you can schedule your posts weeks in advance, months in advance. So you don't have to post every day. You sit down and you post, you do it like for a month, and then it'll automatically post it for you. Yeah. All right, so that's that. Also, Power Agents, there's ideas for doing videos live, like Facebook Live. Let me just share with everybody. What I suggest that you do is start doing live videos on your page about real estate tips, like becoming a blogger, a video blogger about real estate. Here's some suggestions. We give 35, there's 11 here. So 3 quick tips to create curb appeal. So you do a video. Hi, this is Darryl Davis from Power Realty coming here to give you some tips again about real estate. Here's 3 quick tips I have to help if you're a seller, how to create some curb appeal to your house. Make sure the beds look good with the flowers. So you give your tips, a 2-3 minute video. If you do that once a week, you'll start branding yourself as an expert. Gang, again, farming and self-promotion, underclass, all this stuff is there for you. All right, now let's talk about our financial freedom. We're going to wrap this up. The financial freedom piece, you have to have a mind shift when it comes to money. So this is now the next level money. You need to have an attitude of gratitude. Studies have been shown when you focus on more what you are grateful for, you will find more reasons to be grateful. And so you want to try and work on that, right? The second is stay focused on your vision in 2019. Hang around the right people. People are going to encourage you and support you. You know, I believe Power Agents, that's those weekly calls. If you're not calling in every Monday, if you're missing some, that's okay. But you want to try and get on those calls because that's part of the job of Julie and I is to give you the strategies of motivation for the year. Be an avid learner. You definitely want to absorb and be committed to education to improve your skill. When it comes to financial strategies, here are some tips that I have for you. Is focus on creating cash flow from your client base, which is what we talked about earlier. Focus on paying off some of your debt. Make it automatic. You don't want to even see it, even if it's only $100 a month. And then consider investing in some stocks and real estate. I'm a big fan of creditkarma.com. I highly encourage you, if you don't have an account, set it up, check it out, because this will tell you your FICO score on a weekly basis. It doesn't impact your credit score. It tells you where all your debt is. I've been using it for years, and I swear by it. Something Credit Karma actually taught me: it takes months or years for your scores to recover after a late payment or bankruptcy. However, if you can pay down all of your credit cards to 30% or less of the credit line of each credit card, your score will go up dramatically. That one technique will make a life-changing thing with your credit score for those, not just you, but your buyers when you're trying to put transactions together. If they did that right away, it would score. Okay. Now, let me share with you, I want you to get motivated about saving money. I want you to imagine if you invested $100 a month and you did it for 40 years, and if you did 10%, if you got a 10% return, look what happens to $100 a month in 40 years. It comes out to $637,000, gang, $100 a month for 40 years. Another thing I suggest that you do is look at your net worth. Look at where you stand. Your net worth is your financial well-being and checkup. Here's some stocks that I suggest that has been working for us. Just jot these down really quick. QQQ is the best one. There's one Q. Let me just put these up on the screen. So, gang, actually, why don't you take your phone right now if you can, and take a picture of that screen. I'm going to actually email these slides to Power Agents. So I'll tell you how everybody's going to get a copy of these slides. So, but here, let's continue. So I want to get to the end. We're running out of time. My goodness, I got like 4 minutes left here. Dollar cost averaging when it comes to stocks, gang. Here's what that is. It's a very powerful technique that you just buy stocks, not high and low, because you're not that smart. I'm not that smart. But if you buy this, if you take $100, what does that buy you? Just buy this. So it's going to change. Let me see if I have a slide for that. Yeah, this is how it works. If let's say in April, the shares $10 at 100, you bought 10 shares. In May, you're $100, but it's 15, you only bought 6. In other words, the dollar amount that you invest stays the same. You get the benefit of buying this stock when it goes low and high, it averages out, and you'll see that. So that's a powerful technique that I highly recommend. Here's some resources for you. Is Investopia is something to get educated about. Bigger Pockets. If you're going to invest in real estate, there is nothing better than biggerpockets.com. Oh my gosh, that's an awesome website. If you're looking at investing in real estate, they have a plethora of forums and brainstorming and groups and classes. It's incredible. The Motley Fool is a good one. And Fidelity. Fidelity is what I use to do my automatic savings. It takes my money out every month, throws it in Fidelity. It automatically buys my stock. It does everything automatically for me. And it has made a huge difference in my financial well-being. So to summarize, be honest about what level you're at. Be focused on your goals. Just do whatever plan works for you now business, future business, financial, and then become a Power Agent. If you're on the Power Agent, be on the Power Agent call each week. Now, I'm going to share with you, gang, how to get a copy of these slides. If you go to the powerprogram.com/webinar bonus, hang in there. I'm going to show you something. What we're going to do for you, any of you are not a Power Agent, here's what you should know. It is only $27 a month, and the first 30 days are free, and you can cancel anytime. You'll have complete access to the website, which means you can download everything that we talked about. There's webinars on demand, and I'm going to tell you, there is a breakthrough business plan I mentioned earlier. It's 37 pages. This is it. This is 37 pages. This is incredible, this business plan, and it's full of content to help you in 2006. What you get in this program is the live weekly calls that I do, and the dedicated website, and the archives. There's just so much, the magazine. So, I would probably need 30 minutes to talk about the Power Program. There's the closed Facebook group. So we're not going to do that. I'm just going to tell you to check this out for the 30 days. We have such a high retention because when people get into the website, they're actually amazed as to all the great stuff that we're giving them. And so that's it. Now, Julie, here's what I'm going to do is we're just at 1 o'clock, but we're not going to end the webinar. Okay. Is that okay, Julie?
Yep.
All right. So here's what we're going to do, gang. I'm going to open it up to questions. You'll write it to Julie. Julie's going to ask me the question. If you want to stay on the call, I'm going to spend about 10 minutes doing questions right now. And Julie, what are some of the questions that we have? Has anybody asked any yet for you?
Yes. What's the best time to prospect, in your opinion? Should
Yeah,
they do morning? Should they do evening?
Yeah, as I said, the best time, in my opinion, is the evening when people are home. And what I would suggest that you do is actually schedule the call to actually go right then. Like, don't schedule a call for like 2-3 days from now because they're going to cancel. You're not going to have them. So let me explain. So you sit down at 6 o'clock, you listen to your music, you drink a glass of wine to cut the edge off. Not too much because you don't want to be calling and say, hello, Fizz. Don't do. So a little, and then you're going to make your call, and you make your call, and then you're going to get an appointment. Stop calling and go on the appointment right away. That's how I did it. I didn't do a whole bunch of like, all right, I'll talk to you Tuesday and then a Wednesday and blah, blah, blah. If I got the appointment, I would go right away. That's how I did it. Next question.
I love it. Do you recommend leaving voicemails or hang up if no one answers?
So power agents, they get, listen, if you're a power agent, or you're going to become one, which again, it would be silly for you not for $27 a month, but you're getting 30 days free. So I have no problem if you want to rip me off. Go sign up, go into the website, grab it, and then cancel. And you have 30 days to do that. Let me tell you where to find it. There is dialogue that we give our power agents to leave on voicemail. The results is we've been told, our power agents say, I get about 50% of the messages that I leave, they call me back and I schedule an appointment. You cannot beat that. If you go to, after you sign up, you're going to get a email from us with your username and password. You'll log into the power program. You'll click on Classroom and then go to prospecting. And there is where you'll see the FSBO dialogue, expired dialogue, the past client dialogue, and you'll see the voicemail message that I just talked about. Okay, what else, Julie?
How do you find a neighborhood Facebook?
Oh, great question. You just that's a great question. You just type in like whatever town you're in. Like, what was that Texas town? Ashkabikana Mana. Or let's say you say, let's say Dallas has a gated community, right? So it's the cowboy gated community. I don't know. Like, the farm area that you're working, there's probably a name for that subdivision. Type it in that way. Type in the school district, and you'll start to see the groups pop up. What else, Julie?
Perfect. How do you motivate yourself to prospect and make cold calls and overcome the fear of calling?
Oh my gosh, I love that question. Now that answer, I'm going to just touch real quick. Because that's a longer answer. And what I suggest that you do, if you go to the Classroom page of the Power Program, the magic happens in the Classroom of the Power Program. When you go to Classroom, go to Prospect, go to Webinars, sorry. And in Webinars, you're going to see one of the webinars I did was calling FSBOs and expireds. And I went through the whole, it was just on calling FSBOs and expireds. It's a powerful one, and I addressed that. But here's what I'll tell you right now. What's the name of the person that asked that question? Oh, I'm sorry. It doesn't matter.
Laura Lane.
Laura, here's my advice, is that you have to embrace and accept that the fear is not going to go away. You have to be okay with that, okay? If you're okay with having that fear and that worry, and I don't want to, and I don't feel like it, and I'm scared, just bring that with you to the call and make the call anyway. Now, here's what's going to happen. Your first few calls, you're probably going to crash and burn, right? Because you're going to be like, like you might even call somebody, and just hang up on them. Which, that might make you feel good. Let them see what it feels like. So you're going to screw up a couple, but it's okay, darling. That's part of the process. You see, getting good at calling for sale by owners, there's levels, And the first level is just getting past the fear. Like, you don't worry about getting the appointment. You don't worry about getting the listing. You just get in the habit of working and of getting past that and making the call, and that's it. So if you made 10 calls and got 0 appointments, you had a breakthrough. Why? Because you made 10 calls. That's the important part. Next question, Julie.
Yes, what's your thoughts on the do not call list?
Okay, that's a legal question, so I must preface it with a disclaimer. There's a Latin phrase that I learned called anus protectus. It's Latin. And whatever I tell you, you have to do whatever your broker says to do. So I'm going to give you the short version of the answer. Do not worry about it. The do not call list is a non-issue. Nobody's getting sued. It's a law that's dead. It's not being enforced, and it doesn't even apply to real estate agents. NAR says the total opposite, but they have to for political reasons. I am telling you, it is a non-issue. Totally ignore it. Next question.
Let's see.
Plus, there's nobody in the government to actually pursue any complaints.
What is the best way to find FSBOs and expireds in my neighborhoods?
Red X. Go to darrylspecial.com and do the 30-day trial and sign up for FSBOs. Ignore the expireds if you want. Just do they're going to give them to you. That's their job, is to go find the FSBO, reverse it, get the address, tell you if it's on the do not call list, check it against MLS, give you you have to, if you're going to call FSBOs and expireds, you have to do Red X. It's the best way to do it. Otherwise, you're going to have to do it yourself with going online to FSBO.com, for salebyowner.com, reversing and going to the newspapers and go. Forget about it. It'll take too much time. You're going to lose time and money. Next question.
Robert says vodka helps.
Yes, Robert is right. Because, yes, it's quicker. You get
it's quicker.
It's quicker. You get a buzz quicker. The wine, it takes a while.
Provide the information about the full day listing workshop again.
Oh, okay. Listen, just go to listingworkshop.com. Wow, if you can get to that class, forget about it. This is the workbook that I've been working on for that class that has, look at that. There, I just went to the FSBO dialogue, because I'm going to call FSBOs in the class, and then the class, they're going to call the FSBOs live. There's the answering machine dialogue, the listing inventory workshop. Go to listingworkshop.com. If you can make it, this is a game changer, and it's only once a year, January 30th. All right, next question. I got one. This is the last question, Jewel.
I'm a power agent. Where do I find the listing presentation tools in the program?
Thank you, sweetie. Whoever asked that, if you go to classroom and go to listing, it's alphabetical, right? Listing appointment. When you go in there, it's everything you need is in there. There's a lot, so don't get overwhelmed. Click on it and you say you like it. You know, a lot of this stuff in the Power Program is PDFs or Word documents, so you can click on it, open it, and save it to your computer. Okay, I just told everybody how to rip me off again. You can save everything on your computer during the 30 days and then cancel. That's the gift I'm giving everybody. But obviously, you'll miss out on the weekly calls and the webinars and stuff like that. So, but we have a high retention rate. All right, gang. Julie, I think that's it. Listen, gang, thanks for calling in. Julie, thanks for managing our call today.
Sure.
I hope I gave you a few things to help your business 2019. Please sign up. I want to send you that 37-page business plan. It is beautiful, and we'll send that to you right away, and we're going to send you these other bonuses. Even if you don't sign up, you're getting those other things. All right, gang, thanks for calling in. Have a wonderful day, and don't forget to keep smiling. All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.